Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Council presentation ceremony to order, and I'll turn the floor over to Vice Mayor Guzman for the first presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. It's a great day in the City of Homestead. It's good to see everybody in attendance today. I wanted to first mention that Homestead has embraced a new sport to the community. Pickleball is here, and it's here to stay. You know, I remember growing up as a child where before there was electronics, before there was tablets, before there was iPads, you know, we played a lot outside. And our parents took pride in taking us to the ball field. I remember, you know, hitting my first home run. I remember scoring my first soccer goal. It was an amazing time in life. And part of the reason that Mom was the one always taking us to the sports is because Dad was, you know, working two jobs to try to maintain the family. So I find myself in a very similar position. As much as I want to, you know, be a Little League coach, coach a soccer team, I find myself having enough time just to throw the ball around in the backyard with my son, because at times we have to make sacrifices. And part of the sacrifices that I'm finding myself making is I've got to run a business, and you know, we take time that I work with my colleagues and staff to try to create a better life for you guys, the residents. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be an elected official, elected by my peers, and hopefully we can continue to do a good job and Homestead can continue to progress. But I do want to say that pickleball is an amazing sport. Pickleball is what I consider, and I've seen reports that it's the fastest growing sport in the country. Pickleball is going to be here to stay for a while. And some of the feelings that I had when hitting my first home run or scoring my first goal, I had that feeling not too long ago playing pickleball. I had never played pickleball before. And pickleball is a sport that kids at the age of 5 up to the age of 80, 90, as long as you can walk and swing, as long as you can swing your arms, pickleball is a sport that is transcending throughout the world. And I'm so glad that Homestead is embracing pickleball. I haven't had such a great feeling of youth until I played pickleball with top level pickleball that's here in attendance today. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Just to give you guys a little sneak peek of what happened at JD Red the day we had the pickleball tournament, I was amazed because I hadn't seen so many people at JD Red in a long time. And when I got there, everybody was having a great time. It was a great family-oriented event. The kids were running around. Families were cheering on their brother, sister, whoever was playing, and it was just an amazing thing. So I'd like to show you guys a quick video of the JD Red pickleball tournament hosted by Top Level. We are here today. The pickleball tournament is here. There are so many people here. The first city-sponsored event of pickleball, a huge success. I can't wait till we continue to do these types of tournaments. It is bringing so much life to the city of Homestead, and this is what I call community. Thank you to Parks and Recs. Thank you to the city of Homestead, leadership, the council, city manager. You made it happen, and it's here now. Thank you. This is one of the things that we've been wanting to push, and we want to embrace it. And I know that when we create tournaments, it's going to have this effect. There's a lot of people that may have never been to Homestead before. So I'm so glad, and I welcome you to this city, and this is just the beginning. Thank you so much. Round of applause for top-level pickleball, please. So having that tournament really opened up my eyes. I hope it opened up a lot of people, the eyes of a lot of people in the city of Homestead. But when you can host tournaments, it brings a lot of attention. It brings a lot of new people to our city. And I think that's ultimately going to not only help when people come to the city to eat at our restaurants, they're also going to stay at our hotels. They're going to go to some of the great shops that we have out in the Redlands, because Homestead's got tremendous charm, and we'd like to show the world what a beautiful place Homestead is and what it's going to become as well. So pickleball has had such a tremendous impact on Homestead. Top-level pickleball, along with, USA Pickleball, Ernesto Hernandez, Lily Azell. We've got his entire team here. His entire team is here, and we also want to recognize Lily. Lily's here? Where's Lily? Is she here? All right, so she'll be here to hold the big check up. And I also want to thank JC. I also want to thank, the level of commitment that you guys are doing for the city of Homestead. You're able to give back to the city of Homestead. They are donating $3,500 to our Parks and Rec department so that we can continue to enhance those parks. And I remember when I started playing, because I'm a competitive guy, and I was out there doing my thing. Boom, 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 boom. I was playing with a gentleman that was our ROTC instructor. Mr. Gonzalez is here today. Mr. Gonzalez, would you please stand up? Would you please stand up? Mr. Gonzalez, ROT instructor, Homestead High School. He was the ROT instructor for my brother. I was also under you, and we had a conversation. We met Homestead Broncos. We met Homestead High School. And I said, what are you doing here? He says, well, I'm going to kick your in pickleball. And this gentleman, God bless him, 80 years old, and he's out there playing pickleball with the best of them. Thank you. Thank you for showing us that everybody can play this sport. Not only did Top-Level Pickleball and USA Pickleball donate to Parks and Rec, but they also went a step further, and they also donated $3,000 worth of supplies to Homestead Middle School, and Principal Britton is here. Principal Britton, if you could please, thank you for your contribution and what you do for this city. So, is Lily close by? So if the top-level team and the pickleball and Mr. Britton, if you guys could come up here, please, just to take a few pictures. And I'd also like to share this moment. Lily! You are the woman of the hour. Thank you for showing up. We were just giving you praise for all the stuff that you do and what you've brought to Homestead with pickleball. We're going to share this moment. If my colleagues would please come up with me, please. This is not only top-level USA. This is the entire Homestead staff together. Thank you. Thank you for what you guys do. Good. Is Scott Defoe here? Mr. Defoe, how are you, sir? Thank you so much. You were the one that spearheaded the whole donation to the school and bringing pickleball down here. Thank you so much. We couldn't have done it without you. We want to make sure that you are also recognized, because you're going to be a big part of pickleball in Homestead and hopefully throughout all of South Dade.
We delivered the supplies to Mr. Britton.
Here, do you want to say a few words?
We, the whole group that I asked to get involved, sometime during the summer I woke up one night and said, I'm very fortunate. I work in a private school. I'm not rich, but I'm a teacher and I'm in private school. I'm very fortunate. I admire anybody who works in a public school as a teacher. It's amazing. I've done 40 years in private school and it's cushy. And I said, we need to help somebody else. So I reached out to my pickleball friends, which are all of Dade County, and I said, help us. And they came through. And so we're actually providing probably close to over $5,000 in supplies for various schools. And JC and Lily and Ernie, et cetera, said, well, we're having a tournament down in Homestead. We should honor one of the schools in Homestead. So we reached out and we I got in contact with Mr. Britton and said, what do you need? He told me we need 1,000 composition notebooks, we need 1,000 pencils, and we need 600 folders, and they were delivered this afternoon to him. So I'm very fortunate to be able to do that in a sense. So I reached out, and the pickleball community at Miami-Dade came together and did that, and we hope we'll continue to do that. So,
Thank you, sir. Well, you've got our support. I'd also like Pedro from Parks and Rec, if you could please come up here. You're a big part of this entire process. Without you, it wouldn't have happened. You made those pickleball courts very quickly. Hopefully they can become permanent at some point. We should just hold them both up, right? Okay, yeah. Let's just hold them both up.
Considering his height, you're into the height.
We just want to give a few words to Ernie Hernandez, who made this happen, also part of this top-level pickleball team.
You know, this is a big community. A lot of people, you ask them, what is pickleball? And they say, what is that? They don't know what it is. Pickleball has brought us this humongous family that has brought support, not only for the teachers, for the schools, for people to come out and get away from addiction to drugs, to alcohol. People that were drinking stop drinking because they want to be ready to play the next day, so they're going to sleep early. It has changed lives. Pickleball is not just a game of hitting a couple paddles and a couple balls back and forth. And the support that we've got from the City of Homestead, from Julio, from Parks and Recs, the job well done, the work, being there with us, sweating with a hot sun, putting the tape on, it was also worth it because we saw 240 people come out and have an amazing time and bring awareness to the community, bring awareness to Homestead of what pickleball really is. I've lost 30 pounds doing pickleball. It's not about losing the weight. It's about keeping ourselves active, keeping ourselves healthy. You know, that's the important part. And more than anything else, it's become a family. And JC and Lily Azel, which is the ambassador of us here. Lily, you want to say a couple of words? Because Lily is what has made all this happen throughout the whole state. She's been involved free, doing nothing, getting paid zero to make sure that we all can have more courts, more places to play, so the pickleball community can continue to grow more and more. So we're so appreciative to you, Julio, to the whole city council has had our back to say, yes, we want to do this, and we want to continue to do this and grow it more and more, and make the city of Homestead a place that can be huge for pickleball. Have people come from all over the world and play, have people stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants. Homestead is growing by the second. I see it, the construction. It's amazing, and I love the fact that I can say, I love my city, I love where I live. God bless you guys. Hold on.
Thank you, everyone. And it took me an hour and 35 minutes to get here today, which is crazy. I never thought, and I was coming down Chrome and couldn't believe the growth that the city has had. I just sat there and I'm like, I'm running like crazy. But first and foremost, thank you all. I was here in May and I spoke in front of you all, and thank you for believing in pickleball. Thank you, Pablo, from the bottom of my heart, Pedro, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you because your team, your staff, you believed in pickleball. When we sat with you a month ago and a month and a half ago, you said, you know, let's do it. And 24 courts taped to make 240 people come out, which is pretty special. But the most special thing is that I see first responders here, I see the police. You have no idea how special it is, how it could bring our kids, our families, young, old together. And the best thing is that we do really good by this community, by pickleball, bringing all of us together. And finally, thank you for believing. I hope when you all kind of sit down and look at what we can do with pickleball, you think big, because it is big. It's huge. There's a 900% shortage in courts across the U.S. And so it is humongous. So think big, because we're talking about 100 courts in Arizona. We're talking about major courts all over the place. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much. Thank you, Julio, for your support, and everybody, for the entire team.
Thank you guys so much. Pickleball is here to stay.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Bailey, have at it. Love this one.
Good evening, everyone. I am so honored and excited to present the following recognition. We love recognizing our overachievers in academics and in athletics, but tonight's recognition is the first of its kind. Not only the first here at City Hall, but the first in all Miami-Dade County. Janiyah Baker was a freshman last year at Homestead Senior High, and she walked through the door this school year a senior. She was a freshman last year. She walked in this year a senior. So as you let that soak in, Miss Janiyah Baker, if you'll come join me, please. So let's hear it one more time for Miss Janiyah Baker here. So as many of you know, this is definitely a team effort, as I'm sure Miss Baker will admit. So we have some of our Homestead Senior High School staff. I would love to invite her family to come join us as well, and any of my colleagues for this momentous occasion. Miss Janiyah Baker, we are presenting you this beautiful plaque on your outstanding accomplishments, being the first student in Miami-Dade County Public Schools to go from 9th to 12th grade in a single year. We honor you for going above and beyond and embodying what it is to be an ideal student, leader, role model, and young woman. The City of Homestead applauds you. Can you take one of just her and her family for us too? We're a little crowded up here. I want to make sure they have a nice one together. And sorry, Homestead Senior staff, sorry, we're not done with the comments yet. We saw the opportunity for the photo, but I would love for her new principal and her family, and of course her, to say a few words. All right, before you go anywhere, family, let's start real quick with Homestead Senior High School's new principal, Principal Lewis. Then we can let the family say a few comments, and then the superstar student herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the proud principal here at Homestead Senior High School, formerly principal at Redland Middle School. I am a Homestead resident. I'm a proud Homestead resident at that, and I can't be more proud of Janiyah for the great work that she's done. You know, perseverance has no boundaries, and this young lady has shown the grit, the determination, and the overall confidence to get her future accelerated today. At Homestead Senior High School, our goal, our vision is for us to continually be working. Homestead is working, and we're building tomorrow's leaders today. She is prime example of that, and I thank her parents and her family for the job well done to continue to motivate her despite the challenges and the adversities that you guys may have faced throughout the years, especially during the pandemic. To rebound like that says something about this young lady. So help me continue to congratulate Janiyah Baker.
Hello. Hello. Thank you guys so much.
Oh no, we're gonna need to hear a little more. I need to be able to have a talk with my 13-year-old tonight and just give him a little insight. Tell us, I know a lot of hard work, but what was one of the main deciding factors that made you want to work so hard?
I wanted to be finished with school.
Well, I don't think there's any better encouragement for students. Huh? You want to get out of here? Do some hard work. Well, congratulations. Mom, would you like to say anything?
Absolutely. Okay, so I just want to say that I'm appreciative of the staff that have helped her. I'm definitely appreciative of Ms. Dixon, who's helped her along the way, just encouraging her. I'm very proud of her. She has always been a person who wanted to excel and go above and beyond, and I just thank God that she's done it, and I'm proud of her, and we have her back, and I love you so much. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you all so very much. We hope to continue seeing all the amazing things you're doing, and you are welcome to stop by here anytime. Thank you. I have one more presentation this evening. So, it has been a hot summer. I know I say it every year, but luckily there's just like records to help prove how insanely hot it has been. And tonight I would like to recognize a few individuals who went above and beyond in helping us plan some summer events to provide resources and much needed fun to our community. So I would like to start with our Back to School Bash at Roby George. If you were part of that event, please come join me. So 3 amazing organizations came together to provide almost 300 book bags with supplies, a pool party. Elizabeth, are you here yet? I know she was running a little late. A pool party with swimming lessons, snow cones, resources, so many great things. And I wanted to personally thank you all. You probably all know Mr. Alpha Fleurimon from 3 Virtues. Thank you very much for your help. We also have Miss Marie Blanc. Her and her foundation helped with all the supplies and getting everything together. And this young lady right here, Miss Rebecca Israel, she was one with the idea. She recently started a nonprofit and wanted to give back to the community. So I would like to let her start off by saying a few words and then pass it on to the other organizations.
Hello, everybody. Of course, you guys know my name. My name is Rebecca Israel. I want to pretty much give a special thank you to Councilwoman Miss Bailey. It's pretty much an honor to help serve the community for the back to school drive, and I hope to continue this further with my organization called Future Creators and Innovators. Our goal is to serve students ages 10 to 19 years old with providing them educational resources, especially when transitioning from high school to college, and I hope to continue doing that further for the upcoming years to come. Thank you guys so much.
I just want to thank Councilwoman Bailey for just believing in our community and keeping the resources available to those who are in need. And this is always a hub. If you need anything, this woman is always open. Her doors are open. She's approachable. I'm new to the community. She opened me with welcome arms, so it was a pleasure for Designs by Summer to be able to provide services for the kids and getting them ready for back to school. So thank you again, Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I skipped that part in my thing. So we also had free hair braids and haircuts, and Designs by Summer was in charge of all the fabulous braids for the back-to-school children.
I want to thank Councilwoman Bailey and along with the staff at the City Hall. It was a great effort. It's a message that's sent out to see that whenever we work together and we want to benefit the community, we can make a lot. So let's team up. Whatever we're doing that can benefit the community, we're not going to do it alone, but if we team up, we can make a lot and people can touch by it. So thank you very much and thank you everybody.
You have to come too, Mama. We had the whole third floor set up with book bags. Here, you want to come in the front here for a quick picture? We had this whole assembly line going, a bunch of volunteers. Here, come in the front here. Everyone, please. And with the help of quite a few volunteers, we got all of those book bags packed with a lot of great supplies. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Well, I am sure it won't be the last that you'll see of Elizabeth. She's the one who helped do the swimming lessons. She also agreed to help us start a training lifeguard program through the city. So we're looking forward to that, and I'm excited to bring some more news about that soon. So our second event was called the Small Business Summer Bash. And if I can have, it's been a long week. Miss Rolón, I'm blanking out on your first, Carmen. This is Carmen Rolón from Rock Your Body Gym. Carmen was one of the fabulous hosts of Art Walk. She did these little breakout times where everybody had to get up and do some dancing. And she reached out a couple months ago that she had received a small business grant and she wanted to pay that forward and help other businesses in the area. Of course, we love these collaborations. And I said, first person you need to meet is Kamar Martin with the Homestead Artisan Market, because they are doing great things out at Harris Field for their weekly artisan markets. And then I said the second person you need to meet is Mr. Cardell Hayes with South Dade Connections, because he's got the connections. So Mr. Hayes, come up. Kamar, are you here? So I will pass it on to Carmen real quick to say a few words. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for thinking of other businesses in the area and helping us help them.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Carmen Rolón. I'm a small business veteran owner. Just opened up the gym April 29th. I was happy to receive the $5,000 grant from American Express. And like they say, sharing is caring. And this is definitely we opened up April 29th. This is the best thing that's happened so far. So I want to thank Councilwoman Bailey for believing in my idea, because when I called her up, she actually didn't let me finish talking about my idea. She was just so supportive, like, let's do it. I love that idea. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like she said, she put me together with Cardell and Kamar from the artisanal market. And this is definitely a true testament of the power of unity and collaboration. And we're looking forward to doing some more good things for the city of Homestead. I've only been living here for like 2.5 to 3 years because I was PCS'd out here. I'm active duty right now, and I'm truly happy. My studio's open 6 days a week, and I would like to help out and we want to just increase the wellness and strength of our, Homestead community. And I'm going to you'll see me again. I'm going to be helping more businesses and everyone else in the city of Homestead. But thank you so much. And one more person is my husband, Juan Rowland, for being a great support. With spouses, you need support. So other than that, I'm truly appreciative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have to echo everything that Carmen just said. When I first met her, she just had all this energy. She was jumping up and down, dancing, doing all these moves. And I said, who is she? And come to find out, she's the recipient of something great to our community. And so being part of South Day Connections, thank you for sharing, as you just said. And thank you for doing everything to make people feel welcome, make people feel like they're a part of. That is so amazing. I wish Kamar was here. Kamar is a great addition to the whole process. Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. I mean, you helped put us together. She put us on a Zoom call. The first one was a bit, but then the second one was everybody putting everything into it. So, Carmen, thank you again. Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Thank you to the whole city council. Everybody did a big part in this effort.
Thank you all again. Here are certificate for you. We also had some awesome donations for bounce houses and some other. Yes, so that's all you. Is she here? She's coming. Okay, perfect. And that's yours? Yes, I'm sorry, I went for the organization. Yes. Is she coming now? Okay. Yep, South Florida traffic. Not the first or last time we're going to hear that tonight, I'm sure. Yes, please. Somebody's in the parking lot or walking in. Here, Carmen, come. We'll get her in after. You guys can take one outside together. Thank you all again. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Councilwoman Fairclough-Sayers?
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Such amazing presentations this evening. Vice Mayor, I'm really pumped about pickleball, so I need a shirt so that I can get out there on the courts and begin pickleballing, and truly inspired by the work that Janiyah was doing at Homestead Senior High School. Just to provide some context to my presentation, September 1st is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And to provide some context to that, if you're familiar with two tribes in East Africa, they dwell in Tanzania and Kenya. It's called the Mighty Maasai tribe, M-A-S-A-I. And our traditional greetings are good morning, how are you doing? Buenos dias. And for me, todo bien? Those are traditional greetings here. But in East Africa, the mighty Maasai tribe, their standard greeting is, and how are the children? And even if you are unmarried or have no children, your response is, all the children are well. That is an emblematic notion of where they place their priorities, on the children. In the city of Homestead, we have organizations like This Is for the Kids, led by Councilman Roth, that prioritize the children. And we also have nonprofits like the Mystic Force Foundation that prioritizes very special children, children that are battling pediatric cancer. So in the city of Homestead, we would like to proclaim September 1st as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Homestead to show where our priorities are. It's with the children. 400 children annually between 0 to 19 are being diagnosed with cancer. And unlike the breast cancer diagnoses and diagnoses from adults, they're diagnosed because of a routine checkup, but not for children. That is not the case. They get diagnosed because of something's hurting, they're not well, and they're going to the hospital and they're being diagnosed. And what is distressing to me is the lifespan of a child that's diagnosed with cancer depends on their income. In middle to high income communities, 80% of the children are cured. But in communities where there's poverty or low income, where some of us grew up, it's a 30% survival rate. But gratefully, we have organizations like the Mystic Force Foundation that are working hard to ensure that those families, those children in low-income communities are getting the support, the resources, the care that they need to increase their lifespan. So at this time, would you please join me up here for the presentation, as well as this sweet little girl, Camila? Camila and her family. Can you come up here with us? Let's warmly receive them as they come. So I'm going to tee the microphone off to you and tell us a little bit about this organization and your journey and how you turned your pain into purpose.
Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting our children. This is my baby, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma cancer when he was 4.5 years old. This is our sweet Camila, and she is also battling stage 4 neuroblastoma. My baby battled cancer for 3.5 years. In those 3.5 years, he underwent 55 cycles of chemotherapy, 50 rounds of radiation, 12 surgeries. He had over 200 blood and platelet transfusions. He was treated in 7 different hospitals across 5 different states. Wherever there was a treatment option available for him, that's where we went. He was inpatient for over 440 days of his short life, and I apologize. We started the Mystic Force Foundation in 2008, just after he was diagnosed. When we realized how little funding went to childhood cancer research, we were given a 20% chance to live for him to live 5 years. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but I've made it my mission in life to save every child I can and to keep them as happy as possible as they battle this devastating disease. Some of our childhood cancers still remain terminal upon diagnosis, such as DIPG, which is an inoperable brain tumor, the same brain tumor that Neil Armstrong's daughter died from in 1962, and it is just unfathomable that in all of these years, we have done so much in this country, in the world, and we still have yet to find any viable treatments for these children. Their life expectancy is 9 months. We have to do better for our children. I travel to Washington, D.C. every year to ask for increased funding for childhood cancer research. We have gone from 4% of federal funding for childhood cancer to over 8% in 10 years. It's nowhere near enough, but it is progress. And the only way we will ever find cures for our children is to continue to raise awareness, to let people know what our children suffer through. Like I said, Sal's treatment plan is not unique. It is what these children must endure. And it's not fair. We have to do better. Our children need to become national priorities. So thank you for supporting our children like Camila, who lives here in the city of Homestead. Camila, like I said, is battling stage 4 neuroblastoma cancer also since 2020. Last year she relapsed, and next month she will be having a very major surgery. So please keep her in your thoughts and your prayers. Thank you again so much for supporting our children and for keeping them in your thoughts.
Thank you so much for sharing that and your testimony. Your testimony is very, very inspiring. I'm going to read this proclamation in part. It says, whereas childhood cancer awareness is an opportunity for organizations to honor children and survivors affected by pediatric cancer and continue the research and treatment of the disease. Now, therefore, our Mayor, Stephen D. Lossner, and the Council proclaims September 1st, 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Day in the City of Homestead. However, this just came to me. You know, I'm very spontaneous. I think we can do a bit better. You came expecting a proclamation, but I think we should demonstrate what the Maasai tribe does and show their priorities are with children. And I'm going to commit a $500 contribution to your nonprofit. If any of my colleagues would like to join me and supporting, Councilwoman Avila will be supporting, Bailey, Vice Mayor, Mayor, Councilman Roth will be supporting. So our assistant, Ms. Day, will be contacting you. We're all collectively committing to our children and the Mystic Force Foundation. God bless you in the work that you do.
So if you follow us on our social media pages, you will see how much joy and happiness we bring to our children every single day. But behind those smiles, you don't see the torture and the devastation that they go through. So thank you. Thank you for helping us to help them.
Thank you. We'll come up front for a picture. Thank you so much. And if there's anyone else that would like to contribute to this organization, if you can share with them how they can donate to the Mystic Force Foundation. Because I'm sure some watching and some in here, they may not raise their hand, but if you provide them the information, I'm sure they'll be willing to donate and demonstrate their priority to the children in our community.
So you can find us at mysticforcefoundation.com.
Mystic, M-Y-S-T-I-C, forcefoundation.com. They'd be honored to have your contributions and your support.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Well, before they leave, and Mr. Manager and my colleagues, let's just throw that out there as we begin to craft our vision for the third and fourth floor of our Cybrarium building, that there's a lot of space there, and perhaps a portion of that could be dedicated to something along the lines of what I see here in the handout about the Heroes Hangout. Councilwoman talked about how less economically fortunate communities have higher mortality rates, and that's this Heroes Hangout concept. Let's put that on the list of things to look at for as we build out those upper floors in the Cybrarium building. Just a thought. All right, Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. And that was a very touching presentation. Thank you for that. And in addition to my contribution and contributions here, this is for the kids. We'll also donate a $1,000 check to your organization as an effort to help you continue to fight your battles for all the children, not only in South Dade, but throughout Florida and everywhere else. And it's a beautiful thing. We all are touched by children. We have many organizations down here, Patches, another organization that deals with medically fragile children that I'm very involved with them as well. So stay in touch with us. The Homestead community has a huge heart, and we're happy to continue to help you guys with your mission. Okay, let's move on. This is my presentation, but as I always do, I'm going to turn it over to Captain Randy Owens.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Council, good evening. Every month I have the honor of being able to publicly recognize one of our officers of the month. Basically, an officer of the month is somebody that goes above and beyond for the previous month on something that we typically would think that officers do every day. They take that extra effort and go a little more into what they do. And this month, for the month of July of 2023, is Officer Shalisa Gilpin. If you don't mind coming on down. Lieutenant Cruz, if you could also come on down. This is her shift commander who is responsible for nominating her for the month of July. I want to start off by saying I knew she started with the agency. Oh, Sarge, you want to come up? I'm sorry. I apologize. This is one of her afternoon shift supervisors, is Sergeant Holmes. I knew Officer Gilpin came to us in November of 2014, but I actually just found out just outside the chambers before we started this evening on how that transpired. I heard the chief speaking to the others about she was a part-time officer in West Miami, and the chief was at an event and was approached by the chief of West Miami, who was going to retire. They had no open positions available in their budget, and he put a good word in. He said, could you please see if you could find a position for her? She's good people. And the chief went back, and we had positions available. And in his hindsight, he said, if the chief of police is going to put a word out for someone, they've got to be of value. So Chief Roll made it a point to make sure that she was able to have an opportunity to be here, and here she stands today. So good vision there, Chief. So as I said previously, she started with us in November of 2014. She's currently assigned to the afternoon shift. She's got her traffic homicide investigation certification, which is very difficult to do. She's also one of only 2 DREs, drug recognition experts in the agency, which is another very hard training course. And she's also recently became one of our peer officers with the direction of the chief, and obviously Captain DeJong put it together. It's a police officer support team. We have peer officers that are assigned to different shifts and are able to talk to officers. They come forward with if they experience a traumatic call or something of that nature that has affected them, and they have someone they can confide in and talk to. And if they feel that they need services or something like that, they're in conjunction with HR, and it's actually helped a couple officers already. So really great for her to step forward and take the initiative and want to be a part of that. And with that being said, let me get into the brief synopsis of what occurred on the night of July 10th that got her nominated and eventually awarded this. She was dispatched on July 10th around 5 o'clock in the evening to the 400 block of Washington right here to what appeared on the surface as a medical call involving a 3-year-old child that was dehydrated. Upon her arrival, she immediately noticed that the mother of the child and her male partner were severely intoxicated. The child was filthy, had bite marks on his face, so she said there's a little more here than just a medical call. So needless to say, fire rescue responded. Once the child was medically cleared, she then said, I'm going to investigate this a little further. She could have took the easy way out and said, oh, if the child's fine, I'm on my way. But no, she said, there's a little more here. I'm going to check into this. So pursuant to her investigation, she found out that they were homeless. They were living on the streets, very unfortunate. But the mother also had a warrant for her arrest for, lo and behold, child neglect. The mother also had a stay-away order from this child due to an open DCF case for, lo and behold, child neglect. And she had abducted the child from the grandmother. The grandmother failed to report it. So needless to say, the mother was arrested for child neglect. Officer Gilpin took it upon herself to transport the child to the station and contact DCF to come and pick up the child. She also, being a mother of 2 herself, saw that the child was dirty, had urine, their urine was in their clothing. She cleaned the child, gave it new clothes, the child new clothes, bought the child food, a drink, and bought her a toy. So, thank you. This could have went the wrong way, but due to her due diligence and taking that extra step, she quite possibly could have saved the child's life. So, with that, congratulations, well deserved. Thank you for going above and beyond. With that, thank you. With that, obviously, you're going to get a ribbon. I'm sorry, that was overwhelming there. With that, Chief, this is a plaque that she's going to receive. She can hang it on her wall, or maybe in the future your office. Who knows? It reads, presented to Officer Shalisa Gilpin Braithwaite for being selected Officer of the Month by Chief Alexander E. Roll, Jr., July of 2023. Once again, congratulations, Officer Gilpin.
Congratulations, first of all. But Captain Warren, you left out 2 things. First of all, when I brought her down and gave her a job, she moved to Homestead. She was living in West Miami. She moved to Homestead. And at the time, her husband was in the military, so she moved to Homestead alone. And the second thing is that every 2 years, we give the promotion exam inside our department. This year, last year, in December, we gave out the promotion exam, and she came out number 1. Yeah, and also she's an FTO. She trains our new officers. So when people say that we don't know what we're doing, I beg the difference. When I brought her down here, I knew what I was doing, and I knew it was the right decision. And this year, hopefully this year, she will be one of my new sergeants in Homestead Police Department. Congratulations.
Again, I wanted to say thank you to Chief, the command staff, Lieutenant Cruz. Thank you for nominating me. Leadership is a big thing to me, and having these guys and modeling that for us, and it's definitely shaped the way that I am as an officer. It's helped mold and guide my career. I definitely want to say thank you to my husband for putting up with a lot of the long hours and all the commitments that I do have. Without him, this is not possible. Having him as a support system is major. I know I do the support system for the rest of the officers, but I need it myself, so he definitely plays that role for me. So again, I just wanted to say thank you guys.
Good job, Kevin. The theme was children tonight, looks like. We saved a lot of kids tonight.
Well, thank you all. That concludes our presentation part of the evening. What an incredible night of courage, commitment, perseverance, and most of all, service across the board to our community. Again, thank you and congratulations to everyone. You are what makes our community a special place and always has been. So with that, whenever the clerk's ready, we will call the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. 2 minutes. Okay. Well, our colleagues are not ready. Well, good evening again, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, and it is now 6 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Avila. Here. Board Member Faircloth Staggers. Board Member Ross. Here. Board Member Bailey. Board Member Fletcher.
Here.
Vice Chairman Guzman.
Here.
Chairman Lawson.
Here. Are there any deletions or deferrals from this agenda?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. All right, we have before us one item of new business, tab 1, car number 4021, a demolition bid. Mr. White?
Yes, Mayor. It's a resolution of the Community Redevelopment Agency Board of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the professional services agreement by and between the city and the BG Group LLC for structural demolition services, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Driver?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The CRA recently purchased 3 fourplex apartment buildings that will be demolished and the land used for the Triangle Project. An expedited demolition award is needed because of the now vacant buildings have been experiencing trespass and vagrancy issues. The City Code provides authority for the City of Homestead to select and contract through the use of the competitive bid process of another government entity as an exception to the otherwise required formal bidding process. Staff recommends that the CRA Board approve the attached resolution authorizing the Executive Director or his designee to take any and all actions necessary to implement the purposes of this resolution for structural demolition services of CRA-owned buildings 231 Southwest 5th Street, 238 Southwest 5th Street, and 441 Southwest 2nd Avenue. This authorization will also allow the city manager to accept an increase of up to 10% if necessary due to unforeseen conditions.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Sure. Board Member Avila?
Thank you, Chair. Once the property is leveled, or once we go through with the demolition, is there a way that we can look into maybe some possible remedies to try to keep it not such an eyesore? I also heard that there were some types of plantings that could help to detoxify soil, maybe like sunflowers, for example, I've heard. If we can just look into that as an option and see if there's a possibility, I'd like to get some feedback on that.
Sure, we can definitely look into that.
Thank you very much.
One thing I picked up on was, and I understand that, this is piggybacking on other bids, but that we're using a vendor from the 561 area code. So I looked, we closed on these 3 properties in January, February, and March. So here we are in August. Why did we not prepare ourselves as we were acquiring these buildings? We knew they were going to be demolished. I mean, certainly we should have anticipated there was going to be this problem. And my issue is that this perhaps deprives more local vendors of an opportunity to share in city jobs.
Well, Mayor, the original intent or belief was, remember, we had already gone out for solicitation, so we were anticipating we were going to do an award, and whoever would take over the project would have done the demolition. That way we would not have incurred the cost. But recently, the criminal activity has just picked up in the area, and I mean, we can wait and take longer. It'll take a month, 60 days for another solicitation, or we could take quick action and at least get rid of these buildings right now and at least stop the criminal and drug activity from continuing on.
No, I understand that, but I thought when we acquired these, we had the conversation about going ahead and demolishing them. Again, let's use local vendors when we can.
Yes, sir. And as you recall, we do have a local vendor preference. Anytime we use a third party for doing solicitations, for example, Garland, the roofing people, they actually reach out to the local vendors as well. So we are constantly keeping that in mind. And so whenever we do have the opportunity, we do reach out to the local vendors.
All right, appreciate it. Any further from the board? Do we have any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Yeah, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by the Vice Chair, seconded by Board Member Avila. If there's nothing further, all in favor? Any opposed? Anything further, Ms. Driver?
No, Mr. Chair.
Can you give us a really quick update summary on this weekend's events with Rock the Block, with the cleanup and the groundbreaking?
I would love to. So this Saturday, August 26th, starting at 8 a.m., we will be on Southwest 6th Street, rocking the block. And that will include some cleanup on that street. That was chosen as our first one because that will be also the site for the 3 of the new homes that Minority Builders Coalition is building for us. And we're also going to have the groundbreaking for those homes. It's actually a total of 4, and that's going to take place at 11 a.m. So if you don't want to come out and help us clean up, you can come out and help us celebrate the groundbreaking for the 4 new homes. It's going to be a full day of activity. In addition to the cleanup, we will have refreshments for the volunteers. We have some little fun activities for everyone, but then also the groundbreaking. This is the first housing project for the city in the Southwest in over 30 years. So this is a big deal for the board to be behind, to have sponsored, and to make this happen. So I encourage everyone to come out and support and be a part of this.
And there's still opportunities for community groups do they need to sign up and come and help in the?
Yes, they can sign up. There's still opportunity. They can call us at 305-224-4482 and ask for Leslie, and she'll be more than happy to get them signed up for the event on Saturday. And I would also like to thank our sponsors. Brightview is a big sponsor in this event for us. They are out there today, as a matter of fact, starting some of the cleanup process. And they're donating materials. They are giving us a big discounted price on labor and other things. So have to be very grateful to Brightview, and then also Home Depot is a sponsor for the event, so they will be out there. And then Baptist Hospital will have a medical tent out there. With all this heat, you can't be overly precautious, and we're going to have them there present just in case folk like myself who are not good at doing anything gardening-wise, hurts themselves, they will be there to help take care of the needs. And then, of course, Minority Builders Coalition is also helping to sponsor the event.
Very good, thank you. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Board Member Avila, seconded by the Vice Chair. All in favor? Any opposed? Are we ready, Madam Clerk? 2 minutes, another 2 minutes, okay. All right, very good. Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Local Planning Agency meeting to order. Today's Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, and it is now 6:08 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Avila. Member Ross. Board Member Faircloth Staggers. Board Member Fletcher.
Here.
Board Member Bailey. Vice Chairman Guzman.
Here.
Chairman Losner.
Here.
Ex officio Lawrence Ventura.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals from this agenda? No additions, deletions, or deferrals?
I thought Development Services were going to take care of this, but no additions, deletions, or deferrals, Mayor.
Very good. All right, we have before us the approval of the July 26, 2023 LPA minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Board Member Bailey, seconded by Vice Chair Guzman. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. White.
Yes, please be advised that the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon this item, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on this item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on this item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the local planning agency to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Full agenda packet on this item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-590, any lobbyist must register before addressing the local planning agency on the following item. At this time, I would ask members to disclose any ex parte communications they've had concerning tab number 2.
Any ex parte disclosures? None here.
At this time, I'd ask anyone in the audience who's wishing to speak or be heard on this item this evening to please stand, raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk.
Do you hereby swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God? Thank you. You may be seated.
Tab 2, card number 4000, is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the rezoning as requested by Dog Family Investments Limited of an approximately 0.5 acre parcel of land from multiple apartment R3 zoning district to professional business restricted B1A zoning district for property located at 56 Northwest 9th Street as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Cordy.
Sir, I'm going to have our lead planner, Eddie Nunez, deal with this one this evening.
Very good.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Would the council like to hear the brief presentation or the full presentation, being that this item is going to be on the
Let's,
council.
let's hear the brief, just for the record.
Public hearing number 2023-08, as requested by Daig Family Investments, has requested a rezoning from multiple apartment R3 district to professional business restricted B1A district for an approximately 0.58 acre parcel of land generally located at 56 Northwest 9th Street in the city of Homestead, Florida, further described by folio number 10-7812-003-0620. The property is currently zoned multiple apartment R3 district, and the applicant is seeking to rezone it to the B1A district. The proposed rezoning request is consistent with the city's policy and comprehensive plan.
Good, thank you. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this matter? And typically, this is just an administrative forwarding of this item for full discussion on the council agenda in just a few minutes. So hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve. Moved by Board Member Avila, seconded by Vice Chair Guzman. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Ross? Yes. Board Member Fletcher?
Yes.
Board Member Avila? Yes. Board Member Fairclough Staggers? Yes. Board Member Bailey? Yes. Vice Chairman Guzman?
Yes.
Chairman Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Good, thank you. Anything further, Mr. Corradino?
No, sir.
All right, good. Anything further from the city attorney?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn? Move. All in favor? Any opposed? Very good. Moving right along. Another 2 minutes, Madam Clerk? 1 minute. Very good. Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Homestead regular City Council meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, and it is now 6:13 p.m. Today, the invocation will be given by Pastor Ivan Corbin, pastor of the First United Methodist Church of Homestead, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilwoman Avila and the Homestead Police Explorers. Please rise.
Good evening, everybody. Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for gathering us together for the business of the city of Homestead. We also, in a larger way, thank you just for the opportunity to be able to do that freely in this nation in which we live. So right now we pray for all the proceedings that have taken place and all that will take place, and for the good of all this community and the surrounding area here in Southwest Miami-Dade. We ask you to bless our commissioners, our council people, our mayor and others. We pray for our first responders, our military and their families. We lift up to you, Lord, our nation and our world right now. We pray especially for places like Maui, Hawaii, and the devastation they've experienced, and in other places where people are scrambling to try to just get their lives back in order or recover from all the different things that are happening. And so all these things we bring to you and lay at your feet, and we just give you praise and thanksgiving. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let
Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Here. Councilman Ross? Here. Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers? Councilman Fletcher?
Here.
Councilwoman Avila? Vice Mayor Guzman? Mayor Losner?
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum. All right, we are now to the public comment section of our agenda, and I'll start with those who have pre-registered. The first is Lauren Nunez. Ms. Nunez, are you with us still? Lauren Nunez here. Okay. Susan Sorrentino, come on down. Let's put 3 minutes on her shot clock.
I had coffee so I could talk fast. Susan Sorrentino, 2610 Northeast 3rd. When you see this face, I'm going to talk about art. I'm going to change it up a little bit, talk about art and the needs of the seniors in Homestead. I've been trying to listen to meetings on WebEx the last couple of meetings. It's inaudible. We need to talk right into the mics. The public wants a moratorium on building to allow infrastructure to catch up. People of Homestead want this. My friends at Dickinson Community Center, I've been talking to them, and some of them have never been to the Cybrarium. They seldom go to movies downtown. They reduced their visits to the Seminole Theater, never saw the renovated Losner Park. The main reasons are they're afraid of the garage parking, the homeless downtown, crime downtown. The second reason, they feel that the events for Losner Park is focused on kids and that they're not welcome. How can we fix this? I thought about it. Create a shuttle from downtown to Dickerson's Community Center. We can use our own, I guess it's a bus. Let's do it one day a week. Call it Wednesday Matinee Day. Run the shuttle from Dickerson Community Center to downtown. Let it do a circle. Go down Chrome, stop at businesses, restaurants like Chefs on the Run and the Bistro and Casita. Let it stop at Homestead Station, the Cybrarium, Losner Park, Seminole Theater. Alert Cybrarium, Seminole Theater to have programs for Wednesday Matinee Day and their guest. And maybe they can have a dress rehearsal on Wednesday matinee, open up the crafts events in the Cybrarium focusing on seniors, maybe invite the ballet to do their practices on our band shell in Losner Park, involve HCA, Homestead Center of the Arts. Maybe we could do a paint out in Losner Park for the matinees. The seniors want to participate and they want to feel safe. The Cybrarium garage was pointed out to me this past week that there's walls that really need murals inside the garage. Once you pull in the garage, which you could see from the street, you don't know which way the Cybrarium is, you don't know which way the theater is, you get kind of all twisted around. So why don't you add to Public Art Committee, Art in Public Places, a mural, maybe in the steampunk motif, to show where the Cybrarium is, where the elevator is for people who are in wheelchairs or with canes, where the theater is, where these things are, once you get inside the garage. I'd like I used to be chairwoman of the Public Art Committee, and I haven't heard of very many public meetings. I thought Public Art Committee was for the public. I'd like to know what the status is for the call to artists. The artists need their short list published so that they can make plans with the rest of their calls for artists. In other words, if an artist applied to do a mural or to do the William Crome tribute sculpture and they're waiting for an answer from us, they can't apply anywhere else because it might conflict if they get one. To our developers, I say this: no more free lunch in Homestead. The reason why I'm saying this is Homestead only collects 0.5% into their lieu funds, which funds art in public places. Florida allows 1.5%. Miramar collects 1.5%. Sunny Isles collects 1%. Miami Beach collects 2%. Miami collects 1.5%. Port St. Lucie, 1%. West Palm Beach, 1%. Tampa, 1%. Last month, Sarasota doubled their percent, and now they collect 1%. The old PAC approved on March 2022, a year and a half ago. We did a lot of research on this. Steve Walker made a motion to suggest to council to consider returning to the 1.5% that we used to collect. And to reduce it to $750,000 and raise the limit to $200,000. Mr. Hughes seconded. We all voted yes. The only other thing I have to say real quick,
because you got your time and the time of the lady who didn't show before.
One last thing. Miramar Cultural Center opened a 47,000 square foot cultural center. It cost $2.1 million. They got a grant from Broward County. The state of Florida gave them $500,000 cultural facility grant. Miramar advertised this week for cultural arts director. They pay $57,000 to $135,000. I might have to move to Miramar. We need an art director here in Homestead. We have a lot of funds that need to be supervised and correlated. Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of very good points and ideas.
Mayor, if I may, just for the edification of council, I believe that our council has prioritized our seniors. I requested to be placed on our state legislative agenda funding for seniors, and we received it. We've had multiple conversations about not only the seniors at the Dickinson Center, but the seniors in the Southwest as well, because they matter too. So we have those conversations and what we're going to do to activate not only the Dickinson Center, but the FICO Williams Community Center as well, and to kind of, I guess, diversify the work that we're doing in the activities at Loshner Park. After we visited the property in West Palm Beach, the square in West Palm Beach, we were inspired by how they were having multiple events at their facility to be able to bring in a diverse group of people, not just children, but seniors as well. So those conversations are in the works. So I don't want anyone to feel that we aren't prioritizing our seniors. It just hasn't gone public yet, but we have. So I just wanted to share that information with council.
And Mayor, if I can as well, regarding the homeless situation, we know it's bad. Obviously, there's First Amendment issues with regard to that, but in fact, we're actually having a meeting this week with the police department and SOS to go ahead and discuss the issue to see how we can kind of alleviate the situation. As obviously, as the economy has gotten worse, the situation's gotten worse as well. so we're not ignoring it. Regarding security at the parking garage, we're actually working with I3 in acquiring grants to go ahead and install security cameras in the stairwells as well as the parking garage as well, to go ahead and try to deter any type of criminal activity or anything like that. And lastly, regarding the call to artists, this last month, we did the award for the mangrove structures for Lasner Park, and we're already working on the bust for Mr. Chrome. We've received a few applications, but we've asked for some clarification. Zach, if you want to speak to it a second.
Yes, so the Chrome bust, the first round of applications already closed and was moved on to the second round, where the artists submitted their more fully realized sketches. Those are currently under review by staff, and we're hoping to be able to bring them for your review in this upcoming month.
So, okay, I'll ask privately. We need to make this a record-breaking short meeting tonight. All right. Any further public comment? Mr. Kraft, let's give Mr. Kraft a microphone. And no, you cannot have 6 minutes. Yeah.
Thanks. No, I have a couple of things. I might need 4. One of them is the problem with the station. It's not the first time it's being brought up with the station and the safety, and people are afraid of going there. Cameras have been promised there for more than 1.5 years, and there have been all kinds of excuses about why they haven't been put up. They are supposed to be a security firm in there. There's no security firm in there. There's a guy sitting on a chair checking tickets or whatever he's doing. That's all there is. I can totally understand the old lady's concern, because it's not safe. And all the signs where you say, go this way, go that way, they have been bashed. The majority of them are bashed. You see up there, you see remnants from paraphernalia, from drugs, you see broken glass, you see all kinds of shit up there when you go there. I would suggest that you go there. Sorry for the terminology, but sometimes it helps. That was one thing. The other thing I have on my mind is that several of the 7 council members are proud to say that we are a military city, and we are proud of the military that we have here in the city. That sometimes seems pretty hollow, especially because when you look at government institutions in general, they all use the POW flag together with the national flag or the entity they might have. Why don't we have the POW flag on our buildings or our facilities? Is that because we don't recognize the POWs anymore here? Or is it because we just say we are a military city when it comes to something we want to showcase, and Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and that's it? I know, Erica, you're married to a military guy. He's in the Air Force. Don't you think he would like that we had the POW flag up? It means something to a guy like him. And it's a major contributor to the city, so I don't see why we shouldn't have it. And when you talk with Pentagon, they have a lady up there who's a lieutenant who rank different cities and municipalities and military installations in the U.S., how well they function and how they are and how well the military is received. Homestead is not on the top 10, not even the top 25. I don't want to say how low we are, but that's low. So I think we should do something about it. Start with something simple, buy a flag. It costs $25. That means we have 11 or 12 buildings. That should be done within $200 or something like that. A little more, perhaps. I don't think Erica will go broke over that. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Any further public comments? Good evening. Come on down. Give us your name and address for the record. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Vincent Ambo. I am the senior pastor at Greater New Mount Zion AME Church. It's located at 890 Southwest 4th Street, and I've served there the last 4 years. Since January of 2022, I've led our church in the revitalization project of our church's parsonage, and we've invested $90,000 in 6 months of time to bring it up to speed. And for those who may not know, the church's parsonage is comparable to the governor's mansion or the White House. And this is located at 550 Southwest 10th Avenue, where my family and I currently reside. The idea behind bringing the parsonage up to speed is to be closer to the community that I serve and to be in the community and to connect with the community at large. Most recently, I was presented with the opportunity to serve on the police pension board by Chief Roll, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, as I want to see people retire with dignity, especially those who have served to protect our community in law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so you know, we have set a special call meeting for September 5th to do several board appointments. Requests for the Police Pension Board and some other boards came in after the agenda deadline. So we do have other business to conduct that night, and we're going to have a really quick special call meeting to dedicate to ratifying those appointments. Thank you.
Mayor, if I just may add something else. Councilwoman Bailey and I this past weekend were with the Greater New Mount Zion family as they recognize pioneers right here in our South Dade community, in our Homestead community. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the Southwest section. It was an amazing night Councilman Bailey and I had, and we're grateful for the work that you do, and we'll continue to prioritize the seniors in the Southwest as well. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. All right. Any further public comment? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of the agenda. Mr. Manager, do you have any additions, deletions, or deferrals?
Mayor, I have one deferral, tab number 17, car number 4008, Park Master Plan. We'd like to defer that to a later date.
Very good. So do we have a motion to defer? Moved by Councilwoman Bailey, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Is that it? All right. Very good. Next item is the consent agenda, tabs 1 through 14. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Councilman Roth, second by Vice Mayor Guzman. Do we have any public comment? Any questions or comments from council? All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. White.
Yes, please be advised the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon this item, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-590, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on the following item. At this time, I'd ask council members to disclose any ex parte communication concerning tab 15.
Any disclosures? None.
At this time, I'd ask anyone in the audience who's wishing to speak on the item, please stand. Raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk.
You hereby swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth so help me God? Thank you. You may be seated.
Tab 15, Car 4000, is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the rezoning as requested by Dake Family Investments Limited of an approximately 0.58 acre parcel of land from multiple apartment R3 zoning district to professional business restricted B1A zoning district for property located at 56 Northwest 9th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for conflict severability and providing for an effective date. First reading.
Thank you. Development Services.
Good evening. Eddie Nunez, Development Services. This is a first reading of a rezoning request, public hearing number 2023-08. Daig Family Investments has requested a rezoning from multiple apartment R3 district to professional business restricted B1A district for an approximately 0.58 acre parcel of land generally located at 56 Northwest 9th Street in the city of Homestead. Further described by folio number 10-7812-003-0620. The property is currently zoned multiple apartment R3 district and has a future land use map flume designation of professional mixed use. The proposed rezoning request is consistent with policy 2.1 of the city's comprehensive plan and would permit a light commercial operation as implemented by the B1A Professional Business Restricted Zoning District. This land use designation generally responds to current development trends that indicate medical and professional office centers are emerging in the general area. There are existing light commercial future land use categories in the immediate vicinity, which are compatible and implement commercial and professional office activities. The property is currently occupied by 1,100 square foot single-family dwelling unit. The applicant intends to demolish the single-family structure for redevelopment purposes. However, the site plan request shall be presented for consideration at the next available City Council meeting. At this time, the rezoning request is not out of scale with the character of the neighborhood and ultimately will be developed in line with the trend of development and vision for the city. Staff's recommendation is of approval of the proposed rezoning. The request is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan as well as obtained compliance with all applicable city code provisions, including but not limited to city code provisions set forth in section 30-41, changes and amendments to zoning chapter, zoning map, and the comprehensive plan. The applicant is here to answer any questions.
Thank you, and I'd like the applicant's representative to come forward and enter his appearance on the record and give us any presentation you have on this item.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Alex Arias, offices at 701 Brickell Avenue, representing the applicant, Pediatrics of South Florida, joined by my colleague Hugo Arza. I'm also honored this afternoon to be joined by Dr. Raymond Guevara. Dr. Guevara has been a staple in this community since the early 1990s, where he started as a pediatric resident at James Arthur Smith Hospital, providing care to children in the wake of Hurricane Andrew. It was here that he honed his skills and was encouraged by his colleagues to start his own practice in the community after witnessing his passion and caring for the children and their families. To date, Dr. Guevara has been practicing in this community for 30 years at his primary office at 45 Northwest 8th Street. And he has cared for over 10,000 children during his time in the city of Homestead. As such, we're before you here tonight with a request to help realize the much needed and modest expansion of Pediatrics of South Florida. The subject property is approximately 0.58 acres, located at 56 Northwest 9th Street, which is just west of Chrome Avenue. And Dr. Guevara's existing office is located just south of this site and bifurcated by a 10-foot public alleyway. The property is currently improved with a 1,100 square foot home that was built in 1950 and has a land use of professional mixed use, which is intended to implement commercial, retail, and professional office activities, which have been established predominantly within the general vicinity of this subject property. The existing zoning of the property is R3, multiple apartment. And as such, the proposed rezoning from R3 multiple apartment to the B1A zoning district will create consistency with the underlying PMU land use. The proposal will also serve as a natural extension of the B1A zoning that is prevalent throughout the surrounding area and responds to the current trend of development in this particular neighborhood. The proposal will also serve as a catalyst for the further redevelopment and activation of this important corridor of the city. In fact, this property is located within the Northwest Neighborhood Plan, which envisions and promotes professional uses servicing the neighborhood. Ultimately, this proposed rezoning will allow for the development of a two-story, 4,200 square foot medical office building, providing much-needed supplementary medical uses to those provided by Dr. Guevara at his primary office located just south of the site. At second reading, a site plan approval application will be brought before you, along with this request. At that time, I'll provide you with additional details with respect to the site plan. But ultimately, the project will provide off-street parking spaces well in excess of that required by the city code, and will expand the medical services available to children and their families. More specifically, diagnostic testing, such as ultrasounds, x-rays, EKGs, and echocardiograms, which currently have a 3 to 4 week delay unless ordered as an emergency. Dr. Guevara is also one of the few doctors who provides care to special needs patients under the Children's Medical Services Program administered by the Florida Department of Health, and intends to use this expansion facility to broaden that scope of care. As illustrated in these renderings, this is a modest building in size, but much attention has been paid to the architectural elements of the project that will serve to truly enhance the as-built environment as well as the neighborhood as a whole. As per staff's recommendation of approval, this request will create consistency with the existing land use. It will enhance both the functional and aesthetic elements and further activate the area. And of critical importance, it will provide essential enhancements and much-needed access to first-class pediatric care in the community. With that, we respectfully request your recommendation of approval and are here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Real quick, and it's not directly on point, but I want to ask Development Services, is this application one that would have fallen into the parameters of the program we established to allow property owners to receive reimbursement when they're bringing the zoning in compliance with the flume?
No, sir. Because the future land use is PMU. PMU allows B1A, but it also says that it is compatible with existing R1, R2, R3. And the zoning right now is R3.
Just curious, I know in the last couple of years, we had a case on the property just to the south that kind of triggered some of our thoughts on creating that fund to establish consistency. So, okay. Council members, questions, comments? What an improvement. What an improvement to that corner. Let me ask you, Mr. White, in light of our friend, and I say that sarcastically, so don't misquote me, in light of the Live Local, thinking big picture, this rezoning to B1 is not tied at all to a site plan. And I'm not saying that we are here, but in general, our current procedures don't do everything in one fell swoop. Would there be a risk? Are we at risk with a rezoning such as this, standalone rezoning, that circumstances could change and someone could come in and avail themselves of Live Local? And if so, how do we address that in our code? Maybe just a question for another day as to how we address it. But aren't we just dangling out there with a commercial zoning?
If I recall correctly, a few months ago, we adopted regulations for our commercial and industrial zoning categories because they never contemplated residential or mixed use. And so we adopted those regulations in the code so that if in the future an applicant wanted to avail themselves of that, there were land development regulations in place that govern what that development looks like. In those.
No, I get that. And let me interject. I understand that, they would have to meet our local code to do that. But a naked rezoning that we're all enthused about because of this pediatric facility could turn into more apartments if they could meet our building regulations.
Right. Once you rezone it,
Okay.
you rezone it to whatever
Yeah.
permitted use is allowed there. So doesn't mean that after you rezone it, that pediatrics office will, you have to look at it from the most intense use possible.
That's right, and that's my point. So I guess a future conversation is, how do we protect ourselves against that? I mean, and I'm not necessarily thinking of false representations. I'm thinking of a change in circumstances. And again, I know we don't have the time and it's not the place to do this, but kind of a conditional zoning concept.
And we can't condition,
Yeah. Is there a way to protect, I guess we'll have a conversation
Yeah.
later. Is there a way to protect ourselves from that situation?
well, it's either rezone it or not.
Okay.
I mean, the applicant certainly can proffer a declaration,
Okay.
but we can't
Okay, so
require.
that
as a
answers the
condition.
question for the future. Okay. Gotcha. Mr. Cordino?
No, sir, I was just gonna reiterate what Mr. White was saying, and the rezonings stand on their own. They're not, that you really can't link them to a site plan. And so once you approved it, it could change, at any time. And so,
Without a proffered declaration of some sort?
yeah, and we can't ask for that. I don't believe we can ask for that declaration. I think they would have to proffer it.
Okay.
They would have
Very
to
good.
volunteer.
Thank you.
I will say
So
this,
let's
Mr.
get back
Mayor.
in the middle of the road here.
I think your question is much more global in nature, but in this particular instance, we are pro-offering a site plan that will travel along at second reading, so you'll have that assurance on this property.
Very good. Okay, so any public comments on this item? Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve the rezoning on first reading? Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Bailey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Ross? Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila? Councilwoman Faircloth Staggers? Councilwoman Bailey? Vice Mayor Guzman?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you
See you
very
next
much.
month.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
All right, that concludes the quasi-judicial portion of the agenda.
That's correct, Mayor. Moving on to your legislative matters. The next item for consideration is tab 16. It's the second reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending Part 2, Chapter 10 elections of the City Code of Ordinances relating to the procedure for filling of vacancies on the City Council and the qualification time period associated therewith, providing for codification, severability, conflicts, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
I'm sorry, is there any public comment? All right, then I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilman Ross? Councilwoman Faircloth Staggers? Councilwoman Bailey? Councilwoman Avila? Vice Mayor Guzman?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Very good, thank you. We have deferred tab 17. So that takes us to tab 18, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 9th, 2023, the city advertised ITB 2023-18 for pest control and exterminating services to over 437 vendors and received 3 responses. After thorough review, Tower Pest Control, Inc. was found to be the most responsible bidder. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to award ITB 2023-18 to Tower Pest Control, Inc. for pest control and exterminating services for citywide estimated annual expense of $11,352. This recommendation for award will also provide the city manager the authorization to approve price adjustments and renewals as needed and within the established departmental budgets. This is a 3-year agreement with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms. This agreement requires fixed pricing for the first year of the agreement and allows for price increases or decreases in one-year intervals thereafter.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from council? Any comments from the public on the pest control contract? All right, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by Councilwoman Bailey, seconded by Vice Mayor Guzman. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers. Councilwoman Bailey. Councilman Roth. Councilman Fletcher.
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila. Vice Mayor Guzman.
Yes.
Mayor Losner.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Yes, Councilwoman Avila.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to just make a note, please, for Parks and Recs with the pest control. Is this going to help with ants and, ant piles at the parks, or is that a different contract?
Separate program,
Separate
I believe.
all right, thank you. That's it.
Okay. Tab 19, another big piece of good news tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. The U.S. Soccer Foundation has selected the Homestead Sports Complex to be the recipient of a new soccer mini pitch court. The mini pitch court will be located near the new restroom building and installed during the Homestead Sports Complex Phase 1 of construction. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing City Manager to execute the agreement with the U.S. Soccer Foundation for a grant to install a soccer mini pitch court at the Homestead Sports Complex. This grant provides full installation of the mini pitch court at no cost to the city. Its estimated cost is about $100,000.
Tremendous. Council? Council, any further questions, comments? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to ask if there was a possibility of us adding batting cages, paid batting cages at the sports complex, because the closest paid batting cages you can have are at Tropical Park. So I wanted to see if staff could take a look at that to see if there's room to add, if it's the consensus of this body sometime in the future.
Absolutely, Vice Mayor. If that's the council's wish, we could definitely look into it.
You guys familiar with batting cages and what I'm talking about? I think it's got everything else except that.
I think we talked about a splash pad to be added to.
And once again, depending on the number of people that would be going to the batting cage, obviously we'd have to talk to the air base, depending on the area. But that's something definitely we can look into and do.
Air base would have something to do with it.
Well, remember, we have the crash zone. You can't have more than 50 people per acre.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And a dunk tank for Mr. Ventura. Since he's the face of no. And, yes.
Mayor, if I could just read the title before you all take any action on
Sure,
this.
okay. We got so excited about the grant, yes.
Tab 19 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, accepting a grant award from the United States Soccer Foundation, providing for the foundation to construct and install a mini pitch soccer court at the city's Homestead Sports Complex, approving the grant agreement, authorizing the city manager to execute and implement the grant agreement, and providing for an effective date.
Right. We have a motion to accept the grant. Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Avila.
Are you sure?
Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers. Councilman Fletcher.
Yes.
Councilman Roth. Councilwoman Bailey. Vice Mayor Guzman.
Yes.
Mayor Losner.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to tab 20, the next item for consideration is a resolution of the City Council, the City of Homestead, Florida, approving and authorizing the city manager to accept a grant from the State of Florida Department of State Division of Art and Culture for Seminole Theater programming, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Homestead has been awarded a $96,272 grant from the State of Florida Department of State Division of Arts and Culture for Seminole Theater programming. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing city managers to enter into an agreement and establish a budget for a grant award of $96,272 from the State of Florida Department of State Division of Arts and Culture for Seminole Theater programming. This grant requires a match of $96,272 that will be covered by the cost of the contract with Pinnacle Venue Services.
Thank you. Questions, comments from council? None? Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this matter? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by Vice Mayor Guzman. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Councilwoman Avila? Yes. Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers? Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Guzman?
Yes.
Mayor Lawson?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to make a comment about the Seminole Theater. I think that they are just continuing to do such a phenomenal job, having ended summer and have their summer camp program was awesome. It really engages a lot of our family, a lot of our youth that want to keep coming back year after year. So kudos to them. And I think that residents want to spend more time at the Seminole Theater, and they have that great little, concession stand that's available during shows and whatnot. But if we can somehow maximize that space and attract more people to be in the sites of Seminole Theater and all their glory more often, I think that's a win-win. So whatever we can do to improve that cafe area or concession stand, I would be in support of it. So just wanted to make those comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
And tab 21, discussion item. Car number 4020 for the potential landfill at 157th Avenue and 359th Street.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr.
If you all
Manager.
recall, at the last meeting, Councilman Roth requested if staff can reach out to the county and obtain an update as to this potential landfill that's going to be coming in at Florida City. So if I can quickly go through the memo. On April 6, 2023, EAS Engineering, Inc. submitted a letter of interpretation of the Comprehensive Development Plan to the Department of Regulatory Economic Resources, ERE. Oh, no, that's related. Thank you. ERE, Planning Division, Planning Division, requesting ERE to review the application submitted by Atlantic Civil to the City of Florida City for the use of 211 acres of land located near Southwest 157th Avenue and Southwest 359th Street for a Class 3 landfill and recycling facility. According to Florida Administrative Code for Solid Waste Management Facilities, a Class 3 waste means yard trash, construction and demolition debris, processed tires, asbestos, carpets, cardboard, paper, glass, plastic, furniture, and other than appliances or other materials approved by the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection that are not expected to produce leach that poses a threat to public health or the environment. On May 31st, 2023, another letter was submitted to RER revising the proposed use as a construction debris landfill, but built to a Class 3 landfill design standards with standard standby capability as a Class 3 landfill. Once again, the Florida Administrative Code of Solid Waste Management Facilities defines construction and debris landfill as a construction and demolition debris such as steel, glass, bricks, concrete, asphalt, material, pipe, and lumber. On June 2nd, 2023, RER received another letter updating the request to reflect the use of land to build a construction and debris landfill only. City staff has reached out to the RER on August 16, 2023 for more information regarding this matter and was informed the application is still under review pending additional information from the requester. RER will issue a letter of once a decision has been made. Staff is seeking direction as to what action, if any, council would like to take regarding this pending application. And we have Mr. Ventura here from the Air Base. My understanding, the Air Base has some concerns as well about this potential project. He submitted some slides, and I believe you have an expert, right, Larry? Concerns about birds at the site, airstrikes, things of that nature.
Sure. And I knew that they did, and that's why when this came up, I requested that Mr. Ventura be able to brief us in person as to the position of the military. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Larry Ventura, Homestead Air Reserve Base, representing Colonel Paget in the face of no. I have with me tonight Joshua Friars, Mr. Friars is a former USDA wildlife biologist. He currently serves as the base Natural Resources Program Manager, and he is our resident bird expert. So, City Manager asked me to come out and talk about the base we had and our issues with it. So this particular landfill is located underneath what is known as the heightened hazard zone. That is part of your ordinance, and part of what it goes underneath that is issues that, amongst other things, bird attractants. Those are a danger to pilots and the airplane as the airplane ingests those things. And unfortunately, the problem with the birds we're going to talk about, they do not ingest them, and they will burn out the engine. They will flame it out and cause an aircraft crash. So this is within the heightened hazard zone. So we sent a letter to Miami-Dade County objecting to the C&D landfill. They, of course, shared that with the applicant, who sent a letter back and said, don't worry, this is not a sanitary landfill. This is C&D, so you think of like rebarb and concrete. But unfortunately, a lot of other things go into them. And so we wrote back to them, and what we did was we had a meeting and sent these pictures. So the issue that presents itself, we actually already have a C&D landfill right south of the airfield right now. These photographs that you're looking at are pictures which are taken from our tower looking out toward that landfill. What you're seeing, there's nothing up there? I'm sorry. I see it. I thought he's not looking. Oh, well. We good? So all those little dots you're looking at are actually turkey vultures, which are too large for an F-16 engine to ingest, and those will flame out the engine. So that was evidence that the fact that they say a C&D landfill will not attract birds, in fact it does. The next photograph, this one right here, the middle one, same picture, but they're all circled, just so you can better make them out. Those are all turkey vultures, again, between the tower and that C&D landfill. So those are an extreme danger to the airbase. This photo here is then from the other side, on the south side, standing by the landfill. I think that's 328th Street, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the avenue, but that is the C&D landfill. And if you look carefully in the blue there, very over it, you can see all those little dots up there. Those are all the turkey vultures from this side. So as a matter of safety for the pilots and the aircraft, we've asked that this not happen. To speak a little more about why the birds accumulate there, and by the way, we already have 2 landfills. Everybody knows Mount Trashmore. Then we have this one here that I'm showing you. This would be a 3rd one in a row, and I'll let Mr. Fryer speak to a little more specifics about the birds, why they hang out there, and what the dangers are.
All right, so you all can see the birds. It's kind of like a magic eye thing. You start picking them out little by little, so there's a lot of them. So the argument is there's no food or things to eat on a waste landfill like this. Not true. Waste comes in, there's stuff mixed in all the time. Yard debris, everything gets ground up and thrown there. But the other thing we look at is loafing, which is it's like a hotel for them. They're gonna hang out there, they're gonna go to Mount Trashmore and eat, that's like their golden corral, and then they're gonna come here, they're gonna hang out, it's like a hotel. Now the turkey vultures operate by smell. So they're gonna smell things and they're gonna pick it out. So if you have 2 landfills, you got 2 lines of sight, 2 smells, it's like a highway. You had another landfill, like the one that's proposed, you're gonna have 3 landfills, so they're just gonna leapfrog one to another and find the best one that they're gonna hang out with. And the black vultures will do the same thing. They're more visual, so they're gonna see the turkey vultures and they're gonna follow them. And then it's just a whole kettle of vultures. So these waste landfills also produce a lot of heat, and vultures like heat. So what they'll do, it's like a bird tornado. They start down and they go higher and higher and higher until it's right into the plane's path, and the plane will fly right into the birds.
So to close, we believe that if this third landfill was to go up here where they're suggesting it, what you're going to see then is exactly the same thing that we've showed you. You're going to be looking at this, is our belief, over that third landfill. They've already talked about where it's placed, so that's our opinion on the matter. And yes, officially we were a no. So if you have any, unless you have any questions for myself or Mr. Friars, that's all we have.
So who has final jurisdiction over the approval? Is it Miami-Dade County?
Yes, this is in Florida City, so I think they have to get the letter of intent. James could speak to that better, but I think they have to get the letter of intent through Miami-Dade County, and then I think they would go through them, but I think they have to get that clearance from the county.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed the interlocal agreement, but in preparation for the meeting, I briefly spoke to county staff who indicated that there was new information submitted by the base. They're still under review. They were not sure. They had to check with their legal counsel. I think they're still in discussions, but there is some determination of consistency that the county needs to make. But I'm not sure if that is a no, if it can automatically go back to Florida City for approval, or if that results in a stop, do not pass, go, or that decision is appealable to the Board of Miami-Dade County Board of County Commissioners. That I'm not sure. I can get back with you on that.
I'll add, if I could, that the heightened hazard zone, just as it's a part of your ordinance, is also part of the county's ordinance. And so since this falls under that ordinance, they already have it written into their ordinance, then theoretically, if we're saying no, I don't know that they would get to pass go on that.
Thank you. Now, to staff, is it accurate to say that staff has some concerns about the additional dump truck traffic that will go across our jurisdiction to go to this newly opened dump, that will create issues for free movement and the condition of our roads?
Yeah, definitely on Palm Drive, which would be a main artery that would be leading towards where the new dump site is. I wish I had put a map. It's just south of the Keys Gates Golf Course and literally right below the latest approval for Lennar, I think for 1,300 units that was approved. So it's right there. The only place I could see them coming in is on Palm Drive and turning on, what is that, 167th? 157th, right there. And so we're already getting complaints from the dump trucks bringing fill and stuff up that road. It's tearing up the road, rocks are falling down. Now you would literally have a stream of trucks, which I figure would be from the county as well as probably Monroe County, coming up that road to use that landfill. That's one of our concerns, yes.
Well, and depending upon where they're coming from, even potentially through the northern part of our downtown before on Chrome.
True.
You know, and the future interchange at Lucy Street and BJ's. A potential snarl there as well.
So we're looking for guidance. As you could hear, Mr. Ventura, the air base is definitely concerned. And once again, Councilman Roth asked us to bring this item to see if council would like to do something. You know, maybe do a resolution or something like that to send to the county, or a letter to this agency, you know, that we're not in support of it, or we are. I mean, it's up to council. But we're just looking for some guidance there.
Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a combination of three different agencies, right? We got the City of Homestead, who's definitely against this. We have the Air Force Base, is definitely against this. And we have a sister city in Florida City that's playing with the idea of putting this in our backyard. So maybe we need to reach out as well to Mayor Wallace and express our concerns of them allowing a landfill to be within, to me it looks hundreds of yards away from our Keys Gate Golf Course, the new development that's going to be west of Palm Drive, and ask for meeting with them to think what is their thought processes of putting this here, basically in our backyard, their most eastern part of their city, which will never be developed in our lifetimes anyways, against this development here. So I'm sympathetic to the base, but I'm more sympathetic to the people that are going to be living in these new areas of Keysgate. And I can't imagine what the folks that are in the Dunwoody, in the Augusta area are going to think about this as well. And if they're going to go, if they're even aware that it's coming their way, and maybe we need to put a public relations effort out. I think we need to put out the biggest effort to notify everyone in the area that this potentially is coming if we stay silent. I don't know, James, eventually you can figure out if the county approves such a project, where we go next to defend our boundaries from having this landfill placed so close to our city.
Yeah, we can definitely figure that out. I mean, this is the genesis of the county looking at this all dates back to an interlocal agreement in 2006 when there was annexation, and there, from my understanding, there are certain provisions and requirements in the interlocal agreement that dictate development parameters on property outside the urban development boundary. So I think there's a couple of things going on. There's that, which the county exercises control over on property that's outside the UDB but inside Florida City's boundaries, as well as a layer of the Homestead Air Reserve Base regulations. So I think it's multi-tiered. So we can certainly figure out what the path is, right, how this goes. But in the interim, if you wanted to voice your concerns or objection to this, you can do that now, or you can wait and we can come back.
I think we do this now and send a message now before they go any further.
I agree that I want to go on the record of being in objection to any landfill there, of any nature whatsoever.
Yeah. I agree.
That's where I'd like to see us go, however we need to do it, in terms of a resolution, letters to Florida City, to Miami-Dade County, and I think hand in hand with a public relations blitz to everyone who lives in at least the southerly end of Keysgate, that these are the folks that we encourage you to contact and express your opposition to, certainly our county commissioner.
I agree.
First and foremost.
I agree. I think we need to put up the biggest fight we can and send the message loud and clear now. And I want to thank Mr. Ventura for bringing it to our attention. Because I'm sure, I see Hugo in the audience still, he's probably listening to this conversation, that the builder, Lennar, is also going to have some issues with this program going on here. So I think we need to not waste any time, put this thing together. I don't know how quickly we can get the resolution back, if at the Cal meeting maybe or something like that, to get that pushed forward. So that's what I think, Mayor, and I appreciate the support of everybody, that we can't allow this to happen here.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, full blitz, that's what we're going to do. We'll talk with James and Matt, putting the reso together, which agencies to actually send these to. We'll notify the public, and as a courtesy, we'll reach out to Mayor Wallace and have a conversation with him as well.
And let me open a related can of worms. In looking at the aerial photos, it's hard to distinguish the quality of that land and the condition of that land from our mitigation property. And if a dump can go there, why does our property need to be mitigated? That's several hundred acres that right now is under just a morass of entangled restrictions. And I'd like to take a close look at that and see.
Mayor, we could.
Let's compare those apples to apples.
That is an excellent question, but my understanding of those mitigation properties, those properties were tagged that way as part of the deal to actually build the racetrack, right? because there were properties, lands there that there were concerns, and so in terms to be able to do the racetrack, those mitigation properties were identified and had to be restored. I'm just going from memory here. I could be off a little bit, but I will double check and confirm that with you all tomorrow. I'll send you all an email.
Even so, I think those of us who were in the know in those days know that that was overkill and probably an attempt to kill the racetrack. And here we're nearly 30 years out. Let's revisit some of those handcuffs that have been placed on our lands.
Will do. We'll meet with James and Matt. I know we've been talking about it for a
Yeah,
while.
I mean, I know the history on it. I mean, it's just a matter, it's multi-layered, right? Because there's some that was associated with excavation work, there's some that was associated with the DRI, wetland mitigation, and from my recollection, when we've looked at this in the past, I think the majority of it is multi-jurisdictional that would require having to peel back various beneficiaries on that property. Not that it's impossible, but it's a big feat. But we can certainly revisit that and report back to you, Mayor.
Just in general, so you've got, I think, your consensus to go full throttle ahead in opposition, however, and wherever we need to do
And Mayor,
that.
you mentioned a special call on the 5th. We'll have the resolution by then, so
Okay.
to address the councilman's concerns.
Very good, thank you. All right, thank you, Ms. Ventura. Right, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Ventura, quick question. Last meeting, we talked a little bit about some of these programs that we might be able to avail ourselves to with burning garbage. I think it would be wonderful for us to hear also if there are any concerns from the airbase with any of these burning type locations, because that was one of the things I asked staff, is if we could let Florida City know about some of the research we were doing, so they didn't feel like there was no other solution for them with that land.
Tell you that under the heightened hazard zone, yes, anything that protects the pilots and the airplanes from air hazards, those include things like anything that interferes with pilot vision. So that is typically smoke, glare, explosive materials or chemicals stored under the flight path that could potentially explode. That includes all those types of things. So anything within that heightened hazard zone, there would be a concern for anything that puts smoke or something like that. That would be, again, an issue for pilot vision into the air. It doesn't mean they can't. They would have to know what it was, is it controlled, and that sort of thing. Is it
Sure. Are you aware of any type of program that would not include birds or smoke at this point?
I have not personally. I hadn't had a.
Right. I'm just curious, you know, we want to protect the land around the base, and we want to find some great ways to get rid of our trash. So if there is an opportunity to have those go more hand in hand, then that would be a
Understand there's
wonderful.
a big problem in Dade County right there, and I think we're all aware of that problem. And I know there's lots of programs there. I wasn't prepared to speak to it tonight, but I know there are, you know, programs such as the ones you speak, and we've looked into some of them ourselves. I could, you know.
Let's keep
We're
looking.
looking to see if there's something we can do here
So,
within the city.
Just for clarity, though, what we talked about last week or the week before is light years away from an incinerator. It's processing garbage to be converted to a fuel to run, for example, power plants. We're not talking about burning trash in the traditional sense.
So I have a week or so to look at it then.
Yeah,
Please.
we're not there at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Anything further, Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mayor, just one more thing. Tab 22, Miami-Dade County has requested that the city host a countywide transportation master plan project discussion, and they're requesting the use of the council chambers. This is a countywide plan that they're putting together, and they're having multiple meetings throughout the county. Unfortunately, they already advertised the meeting here, so this is kind of after the fact, but I just wanted to notify council and just make sure it's okay to host the county here for that meeting.
Absolutely on my part. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, anything further? That it?
No, sir.
Mr. Attorney, anything further?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Councilwoman Avila? Councilman Fletcher, anything further?
Nothing at this time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Roth.
Just one, a continued request about the traffic light installation on, in front of Center Gate in that intersection there by the school and everything. I haven't got any updates on that lately, so I'm gonna keep asking about it till we get a light installed there. So it's already paid for. We shouldn't have to wait for approvals. When we went through a process to put a strip center up on Campbell Drive here, part of the requirements were for them to get a light installed. They got that light installed in record time. So we don't have that light installed in Keys Gate area yet. So please just get us an update as to when that will happen. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, sir, and I do have a small update. The county had done their traffic study. They wanted it to run through the first week of school in order to capture the school traffic. That has concluded. They are in agreement with the original assessment that a light is needed there, and we are now starting to use that $500,000. We're developing a scope for the design, and we'll get that put together as quickly as possible.
We're going to expedite it quickly as possible.
The Councilman, the ironic thing about this shopping center that put in the light, they did what they needed to do, and we don't have sewer capacity for them. All right. Yes. No. You're good? Okay. Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers? Councilwoman Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things. I just wanted to thank my colleagues for allowing me to be the designee for the Community Relations Board. I attended the Florida City meeting last night, and they were in agreement. They also agreed to adopt their own resolution for the Children's Initiative. So that is really good news for us. We obviously have our students attending their schools, their residents attending our schools, so it just made a lot of sense to be able to work on that together. So I will keep you posted and send in the applications and everything for your consideration for next month's meeting. Speaking of that meeting that I missed, that I was on virtually, the sound is terrible. It was a mix of me holding my phone up like this and a laptop, and it's very, very hard.
And Councilwoman, we are working with the architect and engineer. We're looking about moving the podium. We're going to look at the audio as well. But what really, really, really helps, and you'll see me, I've done this a million times with you, is when you reach into that mic. I mean, you could tell if I'm talking to you now, you're not hearing me. You reach into that mic, it makes a world of difference. Unfortunately, there's no cup here catching the sound, but we are definitely looking into it to alleviate the problem.
Yours was on point. So however you're angling
Well,
yourself.
if you notice, I'm always leaning into the mic. Plus, I'm pretty loud, so that helps too.
Thank you. And then lastly, real quick, I asked staff if they could please look into what we needed to bring back that surge blocker program. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has heard about residents with their appliances going out. So they're going to put together something to send out to the residents, letting them know when that surge protector program is back up, as well as what they can do to submit a claim to the city if it was negligence on our part. So if my colleagues have anything else to add to that, I know that a lot of our residents are wondering what's going on with it, and that'll help.
I do have something to add to that, too.
Please.
Because I did go online and I did look at that program, and it is online, and it's like $9.95 a month for whatever, but I don't know if you could actually sign up for it. So I don't know if they're saying it's not active, I don't know, but it is showing that something is online that you could register for that program.
Yeah,
and I think it's a third-party program, too. It's not something that we do.
Well, we were having it's our meter or our surge protector. We were having a third party install it for us, but that individual or that group went away. I've asked electric utility to use our staff to actually start installing them until we get a third party full-time to actually install all of them.
Okay, and so like with FP&L, they give you a limits of liability, right? So in other words, if something gets through that surge protector and fries out your equipment, there's like a $5,000 recovery fund or whatever it is that they offer for providing that service. So is there some type of a warranty program or something that goes along with them having that surge protector? Because there's no guarantee that you're going to protect the equipment with that surge protector. If lightning hits nearby your house, you're going to experience something. And it happened in my house. Lightning hit right next to my house, and it fried out all my stuff. Right, it fried out my refrigerator, my televisions, my sound, everything I had. It just fried it all out. And I even forgot I had the doggone surge protector, so I bought all my new stuff. But it shouldn't happen to residents. So I just want to find out if it doesn't explain that online what their coverages are.
I will have to find out for you. I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't think we have anyone here from Electric. Oh. My apologies, Barbara. Barbara's here.
So you can make that more clear too, that it'll say something or put the disclaimer online that this is what, if you purchase this surge protector, your parts of your electronics are going to be covered by something. So it just needs to be explained that way because it does help. I mean, all the different issues we've been having, whether it's our fault or not, if they've got that surge protector, then they have some kind of limits of liability. So they will have some of their stuff covered in case something does happen.
Yeah, I'll make sure to go ahead and update the website with the appropriate information.
And lastly, along with the Southwest Advisory Committee, we are kicking off a series of town halls again, visiting some of our religious organizations in the Southwest, starting with Pastor Ambo's Church on this Sunday, the Greater New Mount Zion AME. It will be at 12:30, following the service that starts at 11. So we are planning on going every other Sunday to visit another church in the Southwest, talk a little bit about some of the different programs that are happening in the area. So we look forward to a busy weekend in the Southwest. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Can we have staff maybe look into making permanent pickleball courts over at JD Red?
We could definitely look
Being
into that.
cognizant of the tennis courts that are there. I mean, I don't know how many people play tennis. I don't see a lot of people playing tennis. I don't want to completely do away with tennis completely, but I would like to maximize what we can at JD Red with pickleball, if my colleagues are in agreement, obviously.
We could definitely look at the usage, the number of people using the tennis courts versus not using them, and come back to council with a recommendation, if you all like.
Perfect, thank you.
Can they not be dual use?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, Mayor.
It's just a matter of painting permanent lines, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking as well. But sometimes when you make too many dual use, some of the tennis people might not be happy.
That conclude your business? Good. The only business I have would be to remind folks that we're going to have a special call meeting. So if you're interested and a city resident and you want to serve on the police pension board, get your application in and request into the clerk's office, as well as the Faith and Community Committee membership. Hopefully we can endeavor to pretty much fill out that board in the next couple of weeks. That's all I have. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you all.